Words have meaning. Today I've got a word that's really, really important because of what is being systematically taken away from you, and you may not even realize it. And the word I've got for you today is the word impaired. I'm going to go over the definition real quick and give you a synonym or two to help you understand the definition a little bit more clearly. I mean, we've all heard the word before. It's usually associated with drunk driving or something, right? Well, the actual definition is this. The definition of impaired is being in an imperfect or weakened state or condition, such as diminished in function or ability, or lacking full functional or structural integrity. So let's look at the word impair in the thesaurus. It says to reduce the soundness, effectiveness, or perfection of. Some other synonyms include compromise, cripple, damage, deface. Compromise, that's a really important word that is a synonym of impair. So why am I talking about the word impair? Well, it's featured prominently in Section 24 of the Washington State Constitution. Let's take a look at it. Here we go. It says, the right of the individual citizen to bear arms in defense of himself or the state shall not be impaired. That's pretty plain English and pretty straightforward in my opinion. And in fact, you could use the word compromised in there as well. I'm not sure how any of the gun laws that have been passed recently could be upheld as constitutional. In fact, some of the newest ones are being challenged right now in court. But that's not stopping Olympia from proposing new, even more restrictive laws in your current session of Congress right now. The Democrats and the Attorney General want to ban all semi-automatic rifles in the state of Washington right now. And by the way, that includes your little 1022 rifle. They call that an assault rifle. The ban also includes forced registration of all firearms and prevention from you selling your firearms at any time. They also want to restrict magazine capacities to 10 rounds or less. None of these proposals will affect crime at all. In fact, it'll only turn law-abiding citizens into criminals overnight. What's crazy is the Washington State Attorney General is fully endorsing these new gun law proposals. He is willing to violate the Washington State Constitution and violate his oath of office. So what do? I guess the only thing we really can do is raise a stink. Contact all your representatives, contact your local media, but they won't pay attention. So leverage social media. You need to get the word out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever social media websites that you use, and get the word out and apply pressure to our representatives to vote no on any of these new gun control proposals. So if you don't really care about guns, why should you care about more gun control bills? Well, if the state believes they can trample the Constitution and take away one set of rights, what's to prevent them from attacking another set of rights? Like the freedom of speech. I mean, geez, the founders didn't imagine emails and tweets and a website, right? I mean, that's the same logic they're applying to guns. So how would you feel if the legislature started attacking your First Amendment rights? So I guess we should regulate all devices that can access the internet, including computers and phones, for the safety of the children, and to prevent any of that unregulated hate speech. So we'll start by registering all devices. You get a background check and pay a fee so you can buy that piece of equipment. And then we'll place a limit on how many emails you can send per month and how many tweets you can send per day. Yeah, that sounds really good. And since we need to control all devices that access the internet, we'll ban all private sales and make sure all sales have to get registered at the time of sale through a special dealer. Non-compliance with these laws results in a felony charge. Does that sound like a reasonable set of restrictions to you? Well, it doesn't to me either, but that's exactly what they're doing with firearms laws, and there's absolutely nothing stopping them from applying the same twisted logic to the First Amendment. So if you're still sitting there thinking, I don't buy this strict constitutional interpretation, even though it's in plain English, we have firearms laws on the books already, and we should be able to restrict them. It only makes sense. Well, I would challenge you to actually go out and look at the number of laws we already have in Washington State. You can't buy and sell a firearm right now without a background check anywhere to anyone in Washington State. It's illegal to do so. There is no gun show loophole. There is no online loophole. There is no private sale loophole. Every handgun you purchase is registered by the state, and a copy of that registration is kept at your local police department. If you buy a handgun in Washington State, there's a 5-day wait and, of course, a background check. And now with Initiative 1639, there's a whole host of new rules, including a 10-day wait to buy a semi-automatic rifle. And by the way, any semi-automatic rifle now is called an assault rifle, even a little 10-22, the most popular .22 rifle in America. The same initiative stripped the rights of all 18, 19, and 20-year-olds to buy a rifle. And anyone purchasing a rifle or handgun in the state of Washington now has to sign a waiver allowing the state access to your medical records, a clear violation of HIPAA laws. So I ask you, what new law is going to prevent the next tragedy? Zero. The new laws aren't about preventing tragedy. They're about stripping your rights away and stripping away the rights of the armed citizen. It just so happens that lines up perfectly with the stated socialist agenda. It seems the Democrats have fully embraced that agenda. I, for one, can't sit idly by and watch it all happen. So what do? You don't fall for the narrative. You arm yourselves with truth and the facts, and you just simply tell the legislature and your representatives, no more overreach, no more violation of my rights. We won't take it anymore. Thank you for listening, and if you like this, pass it on.